if I'm being mild and polite. And you know, we are like that. We're human beings. That's how Allah has made us.
It's not just physically, but also in terms of the character. We discover things about each other. We've been married for 9 years. I still see things which I never saw, because life happens, circumstances change, and we react differently.
And we change.
We change with it.
I'm getting 40. Things are changing in me that I'm saying, oh my God, what's going on here? We start thinking about yourself, and of course you need to share that with your partner. Then you need to talk about it. You know what? There is a change in me. Have you realized? If you haven't realized, let me tell you, don't be shocked. And vice versa. So that's important, intimate. And the next is?
That is personal. It's the only relationship where you will be, it's almost like you create a unit together. You retain your individual self, so you should never lose yourself in a relationship, trying to, hoping to. But you create marriage as a third entity almost. And then it's so personal that it just like the garment, it covers you completely. So if it's not your garment, you will know it's not yours, because it's just molded around you, and that's what you do with each other. You mold around. Some couples take longer, some couples never do it, so that they face difficulties later in their marriage. But it's a very personal piece of garment that you are wearing. Just imagine that you go out of a mosque, for example, and you put your shoes on, and you don't look at the shoes. After the first step, you know it's not your shoes. You will feel it. You know it's someone else's shoes. The marks and the curves, you know it's not yours. And the same with marriage. You mold around each other because you make decisions now together. You are not following your own desires only. You are making decisions together for your family, together with your partner. So you want the best for everybody in the family. So that means sometimes the compromise is bigger. But this is the only space where you can be most personal and where you can share your personal space with somebody.
The next one is confidential. It's where everything you say and do, no one in the world should know about. Nothing. It's none of their business. It's yours, it's private. Nobody should know about it. Or has no business of knowing. Unless, of course, you jointly share, in our case, because we're now running training, and we're now preparing people for marriage or relationship. We're sharing lots of our private life with you, knowing the fact that it's okay for us to share. We've okayed it with each other. So when we were doing the last training program in Manchester, my wife was going through a miscarriage during the training program. So we had to tell everyone. Everyone was shocked. What? But I okayed it with her. Can we share? She was, of course. So we can put into perspective people and life into people's hands, saying, look, you know what, we're human beings. That's what happens. Realities are that we have to go with ups and downs every day of our life. And knowing that and understanding it's confidential enough for you to feel secure and feel safe. And the final verse I'll quote to you is the verse that the brother recited. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. And Allah created and made for you from amongst yourselves. So the first criteria for you is to accept that it's part of you and me. Some people believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla creating Hawa, Eve, from one of the ribs of Adam. So there should be a missing rib, right? Adam should have one rib less, metaphorically speaking. Don't take it literally. But if that's what you believe in, look, go beyond the literal meaning. Think about the metaphor that's intended here. The metaphor intended here is to indicate that we are part and parcel of the same. And scientifically, of course, the back, where the spine meets the rib, at the bottom is where it meets our groin, and is where the sperm is produced. So it's not uncommon to make that link in the Arabic flowery language, which contains so many metaphors. So Allah says He's created a mate from you amongst yourselves. He says, so that لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, you can create a safe space with one another that is protecting, that is intimate, that is best fitting, that is beautifying, that is personal. And then He says, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ, and He will put between the two of you, not only one of you, but بَيْنَكُمْ, the two of you, مَوَدَّةً, love, وَرَحْمَةً, and compassion. That is ultimately what we talk about when it comes to marriage. And the last one for you?
It quite nicely leads up to the last one, which is protection. This is ultimately, I mean, when I was converting, one of the most exciting things about Islam for me was that it has such clear definitions between private and public space. And marriage is just the perfect example how you can create a barrier with your marriage between the private and your public space. So that privacy that you will share together, the home that you have. As soon as you get out of the house, nobody knows what goes on in the house. And that there shouldn't be, unless, again, you discuss it with your partner, that it can go out, it can be discussed, but it's your own private space. And where else? This is the only space where you can flourish. So when you create that comfortable, peaceful, loving, kind environment, people want to be at home. They want to be with each other rather than running away. What we kind of see now is that married couples are running away from each other. They are going out. Where is the idea of family? Where is the unit? Where is the foundation for the society? If we can't create it at home, and I think if we don't have the right spiritual understanding of what a good marriage is, it's very difficult to put it into practice.
Okay, so these are the words that we wanted to share. Some of the stories, some of the anecdotes, some of our own private quirks. Please forgive us if you think we shouldn't have talked about it, but we do. We're not like I know people. So we open up the floor for you to ask questions, to challenge, to think, to go through the journey with us. Any questions, any thoughts from anybody?
Yeah, brother, I've got a question between the dynamics between you two. How do you two deal with conflict together?
Okay, he wants to go straight into conflict.
Yeah. No, because you were talking about the ups and downs between you two, isn't it? So I just thought, what's the dynamics like?
How do we deal with conflicts, Anna?
Well, I think one of the things that we identified that was not working for us at the beginning, it was lack of communication, good communication. Because once you realize that you are doing something wrong, the way you communicate, obviously the message is not getting across to your spouse. So it just creates further and further problems. So communication is essential in dealing with conflict. So if you think that you are not kind of ready, or you need to learn something about communication, that's a worthwhile journey to take. Because it has certain principles. For example, we agreed at the beginning that when he gets angry, I don't get angry, or when I am angry, he doesn't get angry, because it just doesn't help. We never take anger to bed. We never go to sleep with anger. That's one thing that we kind of identify.
Even if we do, what we have done before we go to bed, we try to at least, and that is to say, you know what, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So at least there is an understanding that is not forgotten and ignored. We'll deal with it tomorrow. And it's come to a point where we now both know we'll deal with it tomorrow. We're too tired to deal with it. It's fine. It's an unspoken rule that we've spoken enough to have it as part of our relationship.
Yeah, so you choose your timing when you discuss. There's no point of discussing anything when you are hungry, angry, it's late, 12 o'clock. I used to wake him up, I need to talk to you. It's 12 o'clock at night. We couldn't. There's nothing you could do, really. So make a time for it and get ready. Prepare yourself for a conflict resolution. It's almost like a little agenda. And it sounds a bit tedious, but once you practice it, it comes as second nature. Don't have fights in front of the children. Or if we do it in a civil manner, so children learn, and there is always a resolution at the end. Even if we say, I don't agree with you, but we do it amicably, so the children can understand that if we don't agree, that it's okay, but do it in a decent civil manner. Then they.
I think there is also some sort of a misunderstanding among some people, and that is you should never argue in front of children. I think that's not correct. You should argue in front of children, but in a civilized manner. So children should learn that arguing with one another, disagreeing with one another is part and parcel of human life, and they will also learn how to resolve their conflict because they will see their parents in action. So the fact that we will sit down and we will talk about it, they will hear it, the fact that we will make up later on. So once when we had an argument, our daughter at that time was 2.5.
Yeah.
She saw Mummy and Daddy are on two sides of the same, we were not talking very well. She came and grabbed my hand and said, Daddy, come with me. I said, well, come with me. She dragged me all the way to the mum and said, give Mummy a hug right now. I said, okay. I gave her a hug and then gave her a kiss. I said, okay, give her a kiss. She goes, Mummy and Daddy are happy? I said, we are happy. We couldn't stop laughing. So she knew that's the way Mummy and Daddy would resolve conflict. At the end, they will hug and they'll make up. If they don't see that, then they will seriously lack in their own abilities later on to negotiate conflicts.
And I think this is a big issue in the Muslim community because that naturally teaches children emotional intelligence. And Imam al-Ghazali has beautiful writings about, when you're bringing up children, you're developing a character, and this is part of it. Being able to deal with conflict, being able to negotiate, ethics of disagreement, the whole thing. Children learn that, not just by being taught, but also what they see in action. So for us, it's a very conscious thing. And inshallah, we try our best. I mean, Allah knows how we are going to do. But another principle for me, which really worked, is that you need to give yourself the space and the time to talk, and you need to give your spouse, and you listen. When someone else is talking, you just listen and you take it, and then you respond. And there's this constant interaction between you two, so it doesn't end up in the fight, and then anger is going up and up, and the noise level is higher and higher until somebody leaves the room, because that's not conflict resolution.
What's better is for you to say, you know what?